Welcome to another episode of Shooting Science. Today, we are going to look at another slim, lightweight concealed carry pistol option that is currently going under the radar. While everyone's eyes are on the pretty little Glock 43X MOS, we are going to take a look at the Glock 48 MOS. Some may say it looks goofy, but there's more than meets the eye. Let's get into it. All right, let's see what's inside. So there it is, the Glock 48. So this thing has been around a while, but this is a 2025 Glock 48, and the finish of the slide is their new Gas OX finish, as they call it. Sometime early in 2024, they switched from the NDLC black for all of their Slimline Glocks. I don't know if they're going to do this on all the Glocks moving forward. It's a much more matte colored finish. So you can see what that looks like in comparison to an NDLC. Here's an NDLC finished Glock here. And here is the finish on this one, which is actually much grippier to handle than the NDLC finish. It actually looks more like Gen 3 Glocks, but it is not the same treatment. It is an all new treatment. So we'll see how it holds up. I'll do a review after I've got some wear on this thing, if it wears at all. We'll see. So that is what it looks like. All right, what else you get? So it looks like it comes with 2 magazines, 10-round magazines. These are slim Glock magazines, so they are single stack. You get a magazine loader. So how this works is you put the round in, push down, and put another round in. For example, you have to put the bullet halfway in, let this come up, and then push the bullet forward. So it's not as good as a Maglula, but it is free and it comes in the box. All right, so that's how that works. Comes with a board brush for cleaning the barrel out. You would attach that to a tool that I don't have. I'm just going to use a bore snake to clean the bore out. Let's see, you also get a lock, of course. Instructions, this is an MOS model, so it has the removable plate here to install an optic. So the Glock 48 is an RMSC cut, so you do not need an adapter plate if you have an RMSC optic. It'll just mount directly onto the slide there. But this gives you instructions for that, the length of screws, and what size you need, and what size screwdriver you need. So that's nice. Oh, look, it comes with the tool for that. So this goes here and unscrews the plate. We'll go ahead and unscrew it now just so we can see what it looks like underneath. It's pretty tight. You want to be careful that this tool is fully seated because you do not want to strip these screws out. So that's what it looks like underneath. And if you have an RMSC optic, it'll sit on those 4 posts, and you're then going to be able to screw the optic back down. You do not want to shoot this with the optic plate off. It looks like there's some springs and stuff in here. So you definitely want to make sure that either you have the optic on or you have the optic plate on when you're going shooting. There we go. All right, it also comes with the standard plastic Glock sights. Because they're plastic, they're easy to push out. So these are easily changed out if you don't like them. I do like the sight picture it gives though. All right, so the owner's manual is in here. Let's see if there's anything other than that in there. Owner's manual, some firearm safety stuff, some NRA stuff, some Glock Sport Shooting Foundation stuff, a coupon for 20% off at the Glock e-store for completing your warranty. Cool. So that's everything you get in there. All right, now I'm going to put this stuff away and show you guys some of the features on this thing. So there is not an ambidextrous slide release. It's only on the left side, so that's good for right-handed shooters. If you're a lefty, you're just going to have to deal with that. The trigger. So this trigger has these ridges right here. When you press the blade here, it doesn't go all the way down, and it feels kind of harsh on my finger. I have seen on some posts on forums and stuff that people complain that that creates a blister after shooting a lot. So I'm definitely going to look into replacing the trigger shoe. You can see it right there. See how the blade sticks out like a ridge? Yeah, that's not going to be very comfortable. I'll probably go with a Trigger Shark since it's an OEM Glock trigger and the ridge completely disappears within the trigger shoe. Also, it doesn't have those nasty ridges. It's completely smooth. Much better. So yeah, I'll probably install a Trigger Shark trigger on this one. Also, if you happen to find yourself on Trigger Shark's website, you can use code SCIENCE15. You're welcome. So now I'm going to show you what the stock trigger pull looks like. So there's your take up, the first fake wall, some more take up, a real wall, and the break. Here, let me show you again. Fake wall, real wall, break. So in here, it's kind of mushy, but that's the full take up from nothing to the real wall. Installing a Trigger Shark trigger is going to fix all of that. Luckily, I'm right-handed, so I don't need to do that. The texture is very light, so I may look into getting a grip texture to put on here. We will see. Let's go ahead and take it apart real quick. So the recoil spring is the same as the 43X. This just has the spacer on it so that it will work within this frame. And this frame is actually the exact same as a 43X frame. So if I had a 43X slide and barrel, I could just literally slide it right on here and it'll work exactly the same. So that's pretty cool. Let's look at the barrel. So this is a really long barrel for EDC, which is pretty cool because it's even longer than a Glock 19 barrel. Also, you may see this has some like coppery gunk in there. That's Loctite copper lubricant anti-seize that the factory uses, and that's perfectly okay to have in there. You don't have to clean it out. Before you go to the range though, I do always suggest adding a little bit of oil to here and rubbing it all over the barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just a really, really light coat is all you need, with like 2 drops, like I just did there. All right, we'll put the barrel back in. Put the guide rod back in. Make sure it looks straight. Yeah, so it goes on the second notch, not the top notch. And then before you put it together, you should probably put a drop of oil on each of these rails. Just 1 drop is all you need on each of those guide rails for the slide. And you're good to go. Cool. The last thing we're going to look at is the trigger weight. Let me go ahead and measure that for you. Six pounds on that one. 7 pounds on that one. 6 pounds. Yeah, I think it's a 6 pound trigger. I might have pulled it on that 7 pound one. I do have to guide the rod here because it wants to slip off of this uneven surface here. Yeah, right at 6 pounds. So this is a 6 pound trigger. And again, here's the comparison for the Slimline Glock compared to a standard size Glock. It is a lot skinnier, more comfortable for everyday carry. And the grip, of course, is a lot skinnier as well. Also, another interesting thing about the Glock 48 is the overall height and the overall length is exactly the same as a Glock 19. The grip length, though, is a couple millimeters longer than a Glock 19. And of course, it is slimmer than a Glock 19. So basically you have a Glock 19 with less rounds, 10 versus 15 in the Glock 19. Of course, they sell extensions and stuff if you want more capacity, but I think 10 rounds is fine for an EDC, as long as you know how to place your shots, right? But I really like that this is longer than a Glock 19. Just ever so slightly, because I have really big hands. And so you can see here that my pinky just barely is hanging on there. I may get a mag well to help my pinky out, but it's just enough. Whereas if I try a Glock 19, my pinky is sitting in the middle of that ridge on a Glock 19. Whereas here, it's more like that. So that extra couple of millimeters really helps guys with big hands like me. But the other nice thing is this is like gonna fit 95% of people, even if you have small hands. So it's a really great size. The overall, I guess, diameter of this, if you will, is a lot smaller than the overall diameter of a Glock 19, Glock 45, Glock 17, you know, all the main big Glocks. So if you have smaller hands, this might feel a little chunky to you. Whereas this, you can really clamp down hard and hold the gun well to mitigate recoil, improve your accuracy and everything else. So that's another reason why this is a very popular frame. I think most people go with the 43X because the slide lines up exactly with the frame on the 43X. And to most people, this hangover here looks goofy and they wish that the, you know, frame continued all the way to the end. So because this gun looks goofy, most people are just going to go with the 43X, not realizing that the 43X, you're going to feel a lot more recoil. And that's what I've heard. I'm going to go shoot this and make the decision for myself. I have shot a 43X. They are quite snappy, quite recoily. I'm going to go shoot this and see if I can tell the difference. But I imagine this is going to be a lot better. Just because that's how I am with the Glock 45 versus the Glock 47. The 47, as you've seen in my other video, where I compare the 45 to the 47 and the 34, the 47 felt noticeably better than the 45. So I'm hoping that this is going to have the same effect and feel noticeably better than the 43X. So what I'll do is I'll go to my local range, I'll rent a 43X and I'll shoot it back to back with this one and I'll see if I can tell the difference. And I'll post a video about that as well. But as far as this unboxing goes, I hope that was useful for you guys. I hope I've maybe cleared up some things that you guys were wondering about. Let me know in the comments, let me know in the comments if you've got one of these or if you've got a 43X and maybe you were thinking about going to one of these. And just let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your experience has been. Let me know if you've got any blisters from that trigger and if you want to change it out. And as always, guys, I'll see you on the next one.